tall, gangly thing?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to High Roll Radio, episode number 11. This is definitely not the second time we're doing this intro, because Appies and Spethom were definitely not muted. But I'm your host, Gangly, Nick Gangly DePasquale. You're watching High Roll Radio, which is a live call-in show. You can catch us live whenever we do this show on Twitch at GanglyTFT. So if you're watching this on Spotify or wherever you catch your podcasts later on, make sure you follow us on Twitter so that you know when the show is going to be happening. But before we go any further, let me do some introductions. First, my constant co-host, it's Spicy Appies. Appies, how you doing?
Hello, hello, hello.
I should have muted him, by the way.
I would say Nick DePasquale. Wait, Nick Spicy Appies DePasquale again, but I guess I just did.
The joke's even better the second time.
Yeah, living large, living like Larry,
I know we're
having
gonna be
fun.
better the third time too.
Yeah, take three, run it back. No, I'm hanging in there. I'm chilling.
All right, let me introduce the man of the hour. It's the man who's doing a podcast doubleheader. He's going to be on Don't Talk If You Don't Know right after this. It's the winner of the Mecha Cup. It's Spethom. Spethom, how you doing?
Hey, it's Nick Spethom DePasquale.
Man, that was not even close, too. But it's good to have you on, man. How are you doing?
It's great to be on. You know, just to enjoy the moment of realizing I won Mecha Cup.
That's what
A little bit of the media tour that I got to go on as a result.
That's true. You are literally doing the expansive list of every single TFT podcast in one night. You're doing every single piece of media, every media outlet that we have in the scene has you on tonight. But let's before we go too far, actually, I do want to just say real quick that this is a live TFT call-in show. So let me give the spiel, and then we can all kind of talk about a couple different topics. But this is a live call-in show, which means that if you are in the stream right now and you do !Discord, you can join my Discord. On the left-hand side, you will find the Submit Takes channel. Go in there, and this is where we want you guys to give your questions for Spethom, Appies, or I, discussion points that you'd like to see covered in the show. We're going to be moving away a little bit from the hot takes, because we notice not everyone always has a hot take that they want to pitch, but I know a lot of people probably have questions for Spethom and Appies, and maybe even me. So feel free to throw those in. Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, last time we didn't have any callers, so we'd love to have some people on the show this time around. Feel free to throw your takes in, and then make sure you go into the waiting room and mute yourself. And then if we like your take, we'll bring you onto the show. So with that said, let me also just quickly shout out some patrons. If you don't know, I have a Patreon. You can find it at patreon.com/gangly. And I want to give a quick shout out to Lauren, one of my premium patrons who's supporting me and my content. So shout out to you, Lauren. Now, with that said, Mecha Cup. Mecha Cup just happened this past weekend. We have the winner right here, Spethom. Now, Spethom, you've actually been around TFT for a little bit, right? It's not like this. You're not a brand new name in the space. Can you kind of, I guess, give us a little rundown of your competitive history?
So, I mean, I guess I can start with the very beginning, which is I started playing TFT right around COVID when that hit, because friends were trying to get me to play League and everything. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty bad back then. Like, I mean, I was good, but not like anywhere near where I am. And then I didn't realize that I could watch Twitch until like when set 4, so 4.5 happened. And with that, I started learning a lot from some of the top players. I watched Ramkev and Goobums actually a lot, and they taught me pretty much everything about the fundamentals just from watching their gameplay. And from there, I started trying to do what I could to get into the tournaments. I got into one in set 5, and then I was really excited because set 5.5, I thought I could actually make it to regionals through the ladder snapshots, but I was like, I want to say 5th place overall with that, because they had no tournament during set 5.5, which I was kind of a little sad with, but
yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, it was like just a bunch of people off ladder. I remember that.
Yeah, and it was like 2 weeks into the set.
That was such an insane race for the ladder snapshots. It
was Ray, Ramkev, and Soju, if I remember.
Yes. Oh, man. That was such a legendary ladder crunch time run.
Yeah. And so that set was when I probably first got even somewhat a little bit of notoriety or a little bit of like fame in TFT because I hit rank 1. What happened was I had actually watched Appy's and I looked at Appy's LOL chess quite a bit, and I saw him playing Vel'Koz when no one else was. And I kind of learned how to play that really well and ended up getting rank 1 as a result. And then
Let's go.
It's
so
fascinating
shout
to
out
me
Appy's for that.
that he didn't learn, that he didn't copy your Assassin Leona tech.
the Dommy Mommy tech. Legendary set 5 tech, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I was also busy with the legendary Udyr tech.
Ooh,
True. A
nice.
true Ramco fan.
Yes.
RFC, right?
Dude, that Vel'Koz build was like Vel'Koz in general or Dean stuff was so underrated and like getting a 5.5. I'm glad that worked out. Let's go, Spethom!
Yeah. So you've been in the scene for a while. I know you've played in a lot of tournaments, like even going into this weekend, right? Like you were in Astral Cup, you were in Jade Cup, you were in Challenger Series, you were in something else. Oh, Innovation Cup as well, right? But this is kind of the first time we've ever seen you break out, and you literally just break out and win the entire thing. Was this actually your first time ever making final day?
No. So, basically what happened was last tournament, Defender Cup, was it? Or was it Corrupted? Corrupted Cup, because Defender Cup was the one that I had the tech issues with. Corrupted Cup, I made it to the final day, and I made it to the penultimate lobby, where I had to play very first or 8th to try and make it to the final lobby. Obviously, I went 8th and did not make it to the final lobby.
I feel that.
Abby's definitely feels that.
Yeah. But
That's awesome, though.
I'm pretty good friends with Beppo, and so I actually have messages with him where he was asking me about like what my goals for TFT just like this year was. And one of the messages, which I can actually pull up, but it was me basically saying like my main goals were make day 4 of a tourney because I always get day 3, make mid set, and make regionals. And so it will knock out 2 of them, so I'm super happy.
Let's go.
Yeah,
good for you, man. And actually, obviously you had a smaller sample size than the rest of the field, but I mean, I guess a lot of people know that I track the stats of all the top players in TFT, and Spethom is actually number 2 in average placement. He does have like half or less
games.
Yeah, less than half than most of the field. But you know what? It doesn't matter. We take those because you won a ultra stacked tournament that people were really sweating hard for, and I think that you should really try and own that because that's a huge accomplishment. And you know what? If this is your breakout tournament, I hope that the trajectory is only up from here. I think that'd be really cool to see.
Agreed.
Appies, you want to talk about your run at Mecha Cup before we kind of have Spethom talk about his run and his experience there?
Yeah. I'll be the yes. I don't know why I was like gonna say something and I couldn't even figure what I was gonna say. So I did go 8th in the penultimate lobby, like Spethom did in Encrypted Cup. Dude, it's tough being in that spot. Like you need to play so first or 8th because I needed to so going into this tournament, I needed to top 4 the whole tournament to get to regionals, and I knew I didn't want to grind out the LP to play an LCQ, so I was like, I'm just gonna either top 4 this or not play LCQ and not get to regionals. And so it was kind of harder, particularly like day 4, to play with the extra pressure of being like, okay, if I go 8th once, like I am fucked. Like I am so doomed. And I think this is the best tournament I've played in a while. I think I played really well in Defender Cup, but I just had some really tough spots and I messed up a little bit. And then the Corrupted Cup, I was in Japan beforehand and I didn't prep at all and I did not play well. I was not very good at that tournament. And so this is the first tournament I feel like I could really like kind of do my thing in set 8, and it felt really good, and I played well. And Nick won't stop talking about this one Lou game I played.
Oh yeah, if anyone's gonna watch a single game of Mecha Cup of Appies, you have to go day 4 day 4, game 5, I think, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
this game 5, Appies plays the sickest
did?
Lulu reroll game
I was
I've
in that
ever
lobby.
seen. So
I
good.
remember.
This guy
All
plays
I did was
Lulu
play
reroll
as
with.
two.
No. You didn't just play as 2.
No.
He basically for
you-
like do you want to
Yeah,
talk
no,
about
I was
it?
gonna say no. That game, I was so surprised. I'm like, I see you holding like 5 Pantheons and 2 Lulus at the very start, and I think, did you have like Trade Sector?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's playing Lulu, isn't he? And then the entire time, that game, I'm not gonna lie, I was completely brain off because I had Kaisa 2.
Dude, we take them.
Yeah.
That's the best
So
spot.
early on.
Everybody gets one.
Yeah, I had Kaisa 2 like 3 items by 3-1.
Oh, right, 'cause you had Kaisa 3 on 4-2 that game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember it. Yeah.
No, but
Go
in
ahead,
all
go ahead.
seriousness, though, like I actually did feel like I know like Appies is kind of playing it down a little bit, and maybe it's not that special, but I actually did feel like he played stage 2 really creatively. The short version of it is he played Lulu reroll, but because he had trade sector, he said, I don't really care about making econ intervals. I would rather try and streak because I have the units and I could play a stronger backline than just this Lulu. So instead, he opted to play an Ezreal 2 and maybe like a Kaisa, or I forget exactly what the backline was. And is able to, I think, 4 streak. I don't remember if you got the full 5 streak.
I don't remember.
But anyway, he sacrificed a lot of early econ because he had been so far ahead of the curve in order to preserve HP, and then he carried it into a really strong 3rd place or 2nd place finish, whatever it was.
Yeah, Wasian had the old more 2-1-8.
More 2-1-8.
Yeah. No, it was a really cool stage 2, and I felt like a lot of players would not have opted to play stage 2 that way. So even if it's not like the most impressive game you've ever seen, I think it's an example of top players in TFT looking for creative outs that are non-standard in the game. And I think that is worth celebrating, even if it's not the craziest thing.
Sure. Yeah, I think I played a lot of TFT the way I like to play TFT this tournament, which I haven't been able to do in a long time, or I haven't like tried to do in a long time, which I really liked. So I had a fun tournament. I got out in the penultimate lobby. I went the hardest 8th of all time with Mech Ribbon 3. and that was all she wrote.
That game was so cursed, though. It really was. It was
Spethom, though. This man won the tournament.
Yeah, Spethom. Enough about 16th place Appies over here. Let's talk about your run. How'd the weekend go for you? Obviously leading to the first, but talk a little bit about the run.
So first day, I'm not gonna lie, I was not expecting much of anything. It was one of those, I started off my first game, I want to say I don't even remember what I played the first game. Huh. How did I already forget everything? It's now, everything's a blur already. Or just day 3 in general is a blur, besides the second game, which was probably the worst game I played all patch. I had like a Rel 2 at the on like 2-1, 2-2. So I thought I was going to be able to streak throughout the stage. I ended up going like win, lose, lose, win, lose, something like that. So I have like 18 econ going into Krugs in the...
Oh, no.
Yeah, and then it ends up being a prismatic lobby later on, too. And I rolled down on 7 and hit absolutely no Garens, no Samiras, no Belveths. And I'm just like... And that was with high-end shopping.
Oh, my God.
And I'm just like, well, this game's screwed. Just hope I can get a 7th. Nope.
If it
8th.
makes you feel any better, I lost to Krugs this tournament. So
That's true.
18 gold at Krugs, losing to Krugs. I think you're still the better player in that situation.
I don't know. Oh man.
Yeah, so keep going, because obviously like your tournament turnaround, because you were in the top threshold of bonus points from day 3, right?
Yeah, so basically the one good thing for me this tournament, even though I knew like I had to be top 4 to even qualify for regionals, I went into it with a because I mean, at the end of the day, I wouldn't call myself like the most competitive player. I am very much a for fun player. I play this game because I love it. I like the creativity and all of it. So after that 8th, I just... my chat had me listen to some very interesting songs. Not gonna name
Oh no.
Ram Ranch was one of them.
That was the first one that came to mind when you said interest.
Yeah,
It'll
and
pump you up
so
for some TFT.
hey, it
Pump you up.
perked me up. And the next game, I was just like, I started off with I think Fiora pair, and then I took Grand Challenge for the first time this set, and I'm
Let's
like,
go.
you know what? I'm just gonna have fun, see what happens. And that game, I ended up top 3, but it actually made me more tilted than the 8th because so the very last fight that I died with, it was literally my fiddle versus his fiddle, both like 20 HP.
I saw
And
this.
my fiddle starts ulting, so it stops autoing, and his fiddle just autos mine, and I die. I was like, what?
Dog diff.
And then I'm pretty sure the 4th game I just had like, what's the 4th game? I think the 4th game I just high rolled, and then from there I was just like, okay, I guess I have a chance to, or I don't have to sweat as much. I just need to get top 4 the next few games to make it the next day. I wasn't really expecting to get bonus points, and then I don't know. I got pretty lucky the next 2 games. Oh wait, yeah, the 4th game, that was the one that Mort Dog talked about that he really liked, because I think that was the
Chat
mascot.
6 mascot
Oh.
Acel.
Yes. 6 mascot Acel 3 with the Pike mascot.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where Mort
Sick
Dog just so
board.
happens to airdrop a champion duplicator on what 6-6, 6-7, and then roll down 2 shops, hit 2 Acels.
The wrap.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, that's all she wrote.
Yep.
So I'm not gonna make you have to like go through every single game of the
Okay.
tournament. But
I'm so sorry about that.
no, you're good. Well, let me ask you this first. If there's a specific game you want to talk about from final day, feel free. The other, if there's not anything in particular, the thing I would want to ask you is like, what happened this set that didn't happen in previous sets? Because obviously, like, high roll aside, you are performing significantly better now than you ever have, right? Like,
Yeah.
what's different this set?
So 2 big things. The first one, I'm gonna be honest, because so one of the big things that I actually mentioned in my interview was that, and for me with my stream and everything, all or half of the tournament proceeds and then all of my stream proceeds are going to mental health charities, because I was not doing well mentally last year. I was really lost. I wasn't really that confident in myself as a person, anything like that. But I ended up going to therapy, getting medication, all of that kind of stuff, and it really kind of turned things around for me. So that's one of the big things that happened, because TFT is a very mental game, and so when you're not in the right headspace, it definitely makes things a little bit harder, especially when it comes to tournament, because you have all the added pressure and nerves and everything. So I think just having a lot more confidence in myself and being just overall happier helped me a lot this set. It also made me just enjoy TFT more. The other thing, which is kind of weird, I stopped watching TFT streams as much and just started playing my own game.
To be honest, that'll often put you in a healthier mental space, I'm sure.
It was just one of those where I think so I don't mean to like flame some of the top players with this, but I think they almost take, which it makes sense because it is like their job and everything, they take their LP too seriously, to where they don't try and experiment with a lot more random lines on ladder and try a lot more fun stuff out. Shout out to Appies, because he is one of the few top players that always does that and is actually an inspiration to me with that.
One of
regard.
us.
But it's just one of those where, rather than like trying to focus on what the best line is, I think I focused on more what every kind of out possible was and how limit testing those outs. And I think that actually ended up making me feel a lot more confident in the tournament. Because like I think Make said on the interview with me, I played 6 different comps on day 1. I'm pretty sure I played like 4 or 5 different comps on day 2. So being flexible in that regard and not just tunneling in on Kaisa helped a lot because I was able to play to way more outs.
Playing TFT for fun is the best way to play TFT.
Yeah,
it makes everything more enjoyable, and also like if you succeed with that, which you very well can, obviously, as you've proven winning this tournament, like it feels so good.
Yeah.
So
I'm actually curious, Appies, to know, because I think for a while, you know, and Spethom, if I'm being honest, I didn't watch your games. I don't know.
You're okay.
I don't
Not
know
many
exactly.
people did.
Dare you?
But I mean, if that is the case, and you are still kind of pioneering this, like, you know, maybe not like flex TFT in the traditional sense, but flex in the way that like you see a line that people aren't naturally gonna, you know, go towards, and you're willing to like take a risk on that. I think that's really inspirational for a lot of players who want to play the game that way, right? Like not everyone wants to be like the meta slave or just be like the tactics.tools plugin where it's like I'm playing the game by the numbers. Like I think there is still a lot to be discovered with TFT in terms of like playing with intuition, and I think Appies is like one of those players that really spearheaded that in like set 6
for sure.
when he came up, right?
Oh, it was Kevin. It was all Kevin.
Again, 2 of the people that I watched a lot when I was getting more and more into the scene.
And also, I want to just give a little bit of attention to what you mentioned earlier about donating half of your winnings of the tournament and all of your stream revenue towards a mental health charity. That's such an incredible way to use your platform. And, you know, I think the reality is in TFT, our platform isn't huge, but it doesn't mean that we can't still make an impact, right? Like I always tell people that the best way to approach being like a personality, at least to me, is like low reach but high impact is completely fine, right? Like we don't need to reach thousands of people to make an impact in either our local community or even like on a global level because of the way the internet works these days. So I mean, I think that's awesome that you're willing to put your money where your mouth is and donate to a cause that you said influenced you in such a positive way. I think that's really awesome, man.
Thank you. And
No, seriously.
I was gonna say, I even just after the interview, I had a few friends actually reach out to me, and you know, I want to be an ear for them, you know, let them talk in. So I was really glad to be able to, you know, get that point across, and even on here, just say, if you guys ever need someone to listen, I will always be there for you guys.
I'm so glad you won that.
Dude, what a beast!
Like I could not think of a person I would like to represent TFT more at like the top level, right? Just also, is that a Tanjiro figure? Because I have one right here too, and I think we might be matching. I think we're matching. Okay, yeah, we totally are.
Wait, you have
I think
to
that's
move it a
a
little closer to your body.
Mine has the sword
to my body.
Yeah, there you go.
Right?
I'm not gonna lie, my camera. Yes, I actually got this from a Secret Santa from one of my friends.
What is this?
Okay, so if you couldn't tell, Spethom was already an awesome guy. I mean, that puts the nail in the coffin. Okay?
Oh, is that Naruto?
Oh yeah, Naruto.
Okay, can we kick Nick off the podcast?
Wait. Can I just show?
Ping pong the animation?
This was a graduation present in high school from one of my friends. My absolute favorite gift I've ever gotten, because it was all my favorite characters back then.
Wait, what is this from? Can someone actually clue me in?
Wait, do you know Demon Slayer?
Oh no, I've seen ping pong the animation.
I've seen phases of life.
Oh my!
I've seen ping pong. I've seen the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh. I've seen Naruto
Boomer, yes.
up to the tuning exams. That's my
like a
anime.
true melee player.
All right, we have talked about the Mecha Cup quite a bit. Last thing, before we move on from the Mecha Cup, because there's other stuff I want to talk with Spethom about before he has to go. But the last thing is I just wanted to outline the top 8 and get your guys' reactions to that. So in case you forgot, the top 8 of the tournament was Spethom, Ripple Overdrive, Asa, Kindle Gem, Setsuko, Replay, Spearkles, and Robin. I mean, I think if you poll 100 people, like, the majority of them don't even get 4 out of 8 on this top 8, right? Like, this is such a weird top 8, at least to me reading it. I don't know, what did you guys think?
We were talking about this a little bit before the podcast started, but or maybe it was during the podcast. I can't remember. I have short-term memory loss and long-term memory loss for that matter. But everyone is just so good at TFT these days. Like, it really feels like anyone can just pop off because the skill floor at the top level of the North American TFT is skyrocketed the last couple of sets. Everyone's so awesome at TFT.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I'm gonna be honest. I probably would have said Robin, Setsuko, and Ripple, in my opinion, were 3 that I could definitely see. The rest of us, no clue how. Like, no blame. I
mean, no, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I don't know. I feel like the level of competition has just like. I think that the idea that anyone's like a bot in a tournament in general is just wrong. Like, I don't think that's ever been true, to be honest. Like, yeah, you have like top players being like, oh man, like I got a bunch of bots in my lobby in this tournament I think a couple sets ago. But I don't think that there's ever like, I think people have always been good at TFT in North America, but it really feels like the last couple sets like that bar is driven even higher. And like when someone says like, "Oh, you have the easy lobby," I'm like, what? Huh?
These are
the easy lobby.
Also, have you seen some of these Grandmaster players? They're insane. No, but and even go with that. Please tell me you guys saw the meme with Setsuko with a who is Owen TFT.
Yeah. Owen in that lobby.
Owen wins.
So good.
Dude, Owen had me that game. I was going third and he killed Setsuko.
That's incredible.
Oh no, my camera's doing the thing that it did during all of tournament.
That's all right. It's all right.
It's okay. Won't impact the Spotify listeners.
True.
Now, we actually have a caller. We got some takes and discussion points coming in.
Oh,
so I'm going to bring in a caller who has a question specifically for Spethom real quick.
Okay.
All right. Protroid is here. Protroid, where are you calling in from?
I'm from New Jersey. Same as you, I believe, unless you've moved cross-country last minute, Gangly.
No, I have not. Welcome, Tri-State. Yeah, Protroid, for anyone who doesn't know, is our resident Tactician's Crown caster and also caster for Aegis. So, well-known, I guess amateur, semi-pro caster in TFT, but very experienced caster, and we love him very much. So, Protroid, what do you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, I just want to highlight Appy said I'm also a mod too, but admittedly, I don't really know how much work I do aside from just posting memes on his Twitch. But
that's all you have to do.
It's really about it, but
that's a mod's job.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think you have maybe 8 or so mods, maybe only 2 actually do stuff.
Yeah, Appy's is a very low bar for what it takes to become a mod.
Yeah, just, hey, give me a sword. Ta-da! Okay, but basically, I just, first and foremost, you already kind of touched on this a bit, but Spethom, you are a phenomenal flexible TFT player, and it really is great to hear how you took inspiration from folks like Appy's and other corners of this community, where you still get to be able to experiment and try a bunch of really fun stuff. Like, I was looking over the numbers before I got in here, too, and it was able to get you a lot of results. I mean, you had 1/8 across this entire tournament just on day 3, and you had 8 bursts with 3 of them happening in the final lobby. So, like, first and foremost, holy crap. Second most stuff. Like, how do you find your groove game to game that sort of allows you to get into those situations?
So for the most part, I would say I experimented a lot on ladder and also in like the in-houses with different carries between like early, mid, and late game, and even just different front lines to allow me to play more what I hit, which I think that is a big reason why I rarely went, or I only went 8th the one game, because when you have as many units that you know how to play and utilize as an out, it's a lot harder to end up bleeding out HP. And then just for finding my groove, it's pretty much just saying, I don't really like saying this because like I do try and be flex with it. I just kind of decide at least probably like by 3-5 based off like all the items that I have, what I really want to go towards late game. And I think being so set on it, and then like I said, knowing how to play the different aspects of a comp, like for example, Twisted Fate, Nico, you can play any frontline with now, as long as you have the 4 spell slinger. Like I was playing in some practice in-houses the other day. I was initially starting off that game playing like what's it called? I was trying to play Infiniteam, and I ended up getting dropped 3 tiers off of Wolves, or not Wolves, Krugs. And I'm like, okay, I am no longer playing towards Sivir because I had a Sivir too. And I'm like, okay, so this was something I had been like theory crafting for a little bit, and I ended up pivoting into Infiniteam Frontline with Recursion Matrix and Garen, while still playing the standard like Spellslinger backline, and I ended up getting like a 2nd or a 3rd in that game. So it's just one of those where I think at the end of the day, ladder, yes, the LP is cool and all, but I think treating it more as a way to learn and just have fun with the game helps immensely. Just in general, it makes you become a better player and makes
Preach.
Yeah.
Appies, do you have any, I guess, any thoughts or follow up to that?
Preach. That's it.
Yeah,
It's
Mr.
like-
Blue Buff Gnar in set 7. Like, what do you think?
No, I super agree. I think like opening yourself up to a lot of lines, testing stuff out, and being able to play like anything from being able to latch on to like the smallest little high roll, right? And being able to recognize that this random vein I hit in this shop on stage 2 is high roll or phase 3, like that'll make you consistent, and that's how you. I think like being good at TFT is just being very consistent at TFT, right? Yeah. And that's where you'll find it, and that's where you'll find a lot of fun too. And I think it's awesome again that Spethom, someone who plays like that, won this tournament because it shows that like that is a very good way to play TFT, and it's also just a very fun way to play TFT. Yeah. And it's a game; it should be fun. It should be fun.
Preach.
I'm gonna go on a small tangent here, only to say that I think a lot of times when players win tournaments, it's very common to hear people discredit them because obviously you need some level of high roll to win a tournament, right? Like that's definitely obvious. There's always going to be a part of it. But I think there's something to be said about when a player with a non-traditional play style, or maybe not even non-traditional, like so I feel like that style of play is almost extinct these days. It's definitely, there are more players not doing what Spethom and Appies are doing than players who are. And I feel like when someone can pilot a game like that and still find success, to me, it feels really unhealthy to suggest that high roll is like the only reason that a player like that can win. Because to me, I feel like we should really be encouraging players to look up to the players who can accomplish these great things. Because sure, maybe Spethom did high roll in a lot of his games, but the reality is he's high rolling while piloting unique lines and putting himself in a position to high roll, right? And we always say like the line of like, you have to be able to pilot high roll in order to win. Like that's still a skill. But I don't know. I feel like this is one of those things where I really hope that people don't go back and discredit Spethom for this tournament victory, because I feel like it's really cool to see someone with a play style like his win, and I hope we can kind of latch on to that a little bit more.
And I think also, just in my opinion, when it comes to tournaments, especially when there's like one super oppressive dominant comp, which was Kaisa, when you play these slightly more off-meta lines, you're always going to have a higher cap than the others because you're playing uncontested.
Yep. Yeah.
So I think that was another big reason why I was able to get more first than not, because I mean, no one's re-rolling the A-Souls because they're all re-rolling Kaisa. Why not play for that?
It can also just totally save you in some like really bad spots, right? Like you can just be in a bad spot, and then because you're uncontested, that happened to me a bunch. I just hit like Jinx 3 a bunch of games because no one plays Jinx.
I saw that game. That was a great one. Hey, real quick, thank you, Giant Slayer, for the raid on the show. Hope you all had a great first or eighth. Protroid, Was there anything else you wanted to ask before you go? And if not, do you have any shout outs?
No, kind of hit all the nails on the head. You also got up on the soapbox I would get up on of being able to pilot these kind of high roll moments, so that's all kind of fine on my part. I will also shout out Owen TFT just because I can tell you
Let's go,
they're
Owen.
actually an Aegis player, and a bunch of us were watching.
Let's go.
A bunch of us were watching as they were playing in that game, and we were laughing hysterically first and foremost when we saw the who the is Owen TFT. And then we watched it. Sorry, I had to figure out how to censor somehow, but then we watched just as a Garen free rolled in and just still figured out how to beat it. Honestly, if you want to watch more games, take a look at his POVs because he got through so many angles that none of us knew what the hell he was doing until he finished in the top 4. So strongly recommend that too. I'll use my promotion for that.
And shout out to the Aegis. What's the name of the upper league, ProTroid? Is it Challenger League? The Aegis Challenger League?
The ACL, that is the Aegis Champions League.
Champions League. So yeah, shout out to Aegis for running these awesome amateur grassroots events. If anyone watches my content, you know I'm a huge fan of these grassroots efforts. So shout out to them for doing their stuff. And you know what? They're giving platforms like Owen TFT to come around with these awesome moments. So
yeah,
ProTroid.
and sorry, just one more. And
Yeah.
Jesus Timo in LCQ this coming weekend. So do keep an eye on that.
Let's go.
All right, thank you so much, ProTroid. We'll talk to you later.
See you around.
All right. Actually, it looks like we have one more. We have another caller for Spethom. So you know what? I'm gonna bring them in because Spethom, I know you're gonna have to go to Don't Talk If You Don't Know soon. So I'm gonna bring them in.
We're in the weekend of the pair.
All right, Archard Red is here.
Archard. Actually,
Archard,
yeah.
where are you calling in from, Archard?
I'm actually calling in from Oregon, pretty much on the opposite side of most large TFT streamers.
All right, Archard, what do you want to talk about?
So my topic was more towards Spethom. You have a much smaller, tightly knit TFT community with attendance to your streams, and also some bigger names like Aniko who constantly tune in, support you. But how much do you actually learn whenever you go in to coach these smaller or lower elo players? Because I know obviously your community has a couple of lower rated players, higher rated players, and all of that sort.
I know Appies is going to want to jump in on this as well.
Oh, so for me, when it comes to coaching lower elo play, so one of the big things is it helps reaffirm everything that you know, because if you can actively show someone how to understand fundamentals, because at the base of TFT are like the main core fundamentals: positioning, econ, tempo, and understanding lines and meta, everything like that. As if you can help someone else get better with it, it kind of strengthens your own understanding of your own gameplay. Because one thing I do want to say is most TFT players have at least some slight differences. There's a reason why you'll see people say, oh, I would do this on this. There's other people that say I would do this on this kind of thing. So I think more than anything, it just helps show just that you know what you're doing. And I mean, if you can explain it to someone in the most layman's term, that means that you actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Appies, you want to add to it?
No, I super agree. I feel like as far as like what, like Spethom or I, or any other top player would get from coaching someone in like Plat or Diamond. Actually, I just finished coaching someone who's in Plat right before this. And, beyond just like, I guess, obviously it's really nice to, see someone kind of come into their own, like find their play style and start getting good at the game. But like, I used to actually always cancel, or I used to always like not have coaching sessions the week before a tournament. And then one week I forgot to cancel them, or I just forgot to block off the week rather. And I had like 2 or 3 sessions. And I was like, oh wait, this is actually really good for just getting my head in the game beforehand. And so now I just always do a bunch of research before tournaments. And like the better you can be at, the better you get at like being able to explain like the fundamentals of TFT, like Spethom was saying, right? Like the core parts that make someone good at TFT, the better you get as a player. because when you can verbalize why you do this, why you do that, and make it like digestible for someone who's getting into the game or like trying to start getting good at the game, then that means that you don't have to think about all that, or like you can like really that you can just apply all that very easily in your own game too. So
it makes it a lot more second nature for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Archard, thank you so much for calling in. We're gonna move on because we only have Spethom for a little bit longer, and I wanna touch on as much as we can. So, do you have anything to shout out before you go?
Shout out to Spethom's community Discord. Actually, I noticed that it was growing in size, of course, after winning a huge tournament. So, congrats again on that. And
you, bud.
yeah,
I
make sure you
appreciate
stop by.
All right, thank you so much for calling in, Archard. We'll catch you later.
Sounds good. See you then.
All right, so now let's move on. I know we have some other takes coming in, but while we have Spethom here, one thing I do want to talk about is the fact that 22 of the 24 players have been locked in for regional finals. I do have the list. I'm going to post it just in Discord so that you guys can reference it. I'm just going to post it in the general channel of my Discord if you want to see that. But basically, and I'll go through it really quickly. 10 players from qualifier points: Setsuko, Replay, Clear, Garchomp, DQA, Kuramex, Juke, Cottontail, Kivix, and JD Zlinski. 4 players from the snapshots: Dish Soap, Socks, Robin, Deepay. 4 players from the mid-set finale: Wajan Iverson, Malala, Bosso, and Broccoli. And 4 players from the Mecha Cup: Spethom, Ripple Overdrive, Asa, and Kindle Gem. Who's giggling? I hear someone
Oh, why, that was so funny to me. Sorry.
All right. So, I mean, my first reaction to seeing this is that, well, one, there's a lot of new names. Like, I have no idea who Kindle Gem is. JD Zlinski is not new. Like, they were in regionals for set 6, but still not like a player with a large following. Not like a name I think people really expect to see. Obviously, I think Jukyu's kind of in there. Cottontail, I think, took a lot of people by surprise, winning that first cup too. Is there anyone on here that really stands out to you guys?
I like that. I'm really glad that Garchomp Pro is here, because the reason being that he I've never actually talked to him myself, but I know he was in like the Jirachi Pyre like study group. And there's the Garchomp Pro Discord way back in the day too. So he's been around forever, so I'm really glad to see him start popping off.
For me, I'm gonna probably say shout out to Ripple, because I remember him from the 6.5 last chance qualifier. That was actually the first time that I had even really recognized his name, because I think he finished like 4th, which was definitely ahead of me then. But I mean, ended up talking to him a bit this set because of the little study group that we had going on, and I just think he's a phenomenal player. He's the other person besides me that Aniko had said passes eye test and have been shouting out for a little bit. So yeah, he's a hell of a player, and I'm excited to see what he can do in regionals for sure.
Yeah, shout out to Ripple for making my Don't Talk If You Don't Know ballot the most successful at predicting players in the top 16. So shout out to Ripple. I believed in you and it paid off. But yeah, you know what? We still have 2 more slots coming in too, and that the last 2 slots are coming in at the last chance qualifier. So I don't know. Have you guys seen the list of players who actually qualified?
It's stacked.
Yeah,
it is really stacked.
Strong.
I mean, right?
I hope Ramblin's in. I really hope Ramblin gets one of the
especially
spots.
After he barely out again.
Yeah, Ramblin, Goobums, Precedent, those seem to be like the front runners for the event, right? I know the person who was rank 1. I don't know how to say their name. Tlades. Does anyone know how to say it?
Yeah, I think it's Tlades. Yeah.
Tlades. I've seen their name around, but I'm not intimately
familiar. They kind of farmed
with
me
them.
on ladder.
Oh, really?
Tlades is very solid.
Yeah, last time I played against them, we both played Yasuo, and they just beat my ass. Let me over table and just brought a stick.
Okay.
They're good. Sorry, that was a weird way to say that, but they're pretty good.
This used to be a family-friendly show.
My bad.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, I think Goobums, Ramblin, Oh, Amdy's in there as well. Actually, I didn't even realize Amdy's
Oh, he
had a
is?
pretty quiet
Oh.
season.
Yeah.
Actually, up
He
to
hasn't
this
played the last 6 days because he's
Really?
been out, or he was on vacation, something like that.
Gotcha.
Okay, so make your predictions right now. I want all three of us to make our predictions. It's top 2.
Oh.
Obviously, make it to regionals. So, which 2 players are we expecting to see in regionals?
Ramblin's one of them for sure.
Do you think it's going to be 2 front runners like we did
No.
with set 6? Was when it was
6.5,
Nubowel,
yeah.
Nubowel, Soju.
I doubt it.
Who
I
was
doubt
it in
it.
set 7? I can't remember actually. You were in that event, Appies. I can't remember who actually.
Oh, it was
Who's top
Wasian
2?
and someone, right? Or was
Sully,
did Wasian
Sully,
get through it?
Wasian
Oh,
and Sully,
Sully.
right?
Oh yeah, Sully's
It
TFT.
was
Yeah,
definitely
yes,
Sully,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
Okay,
He's a
so
beast.
what's your
Wait,
prediction?
is he
Ramblin'
is
and
he-
who? Oh, it was
Sully TFT
Sag.
in
It was
LCQ?
Sag.
Sag. That's
Yes,
it.
it was Sag and Sully.
Sully had
Wasian
already
was
made
in
it.
the event, if I remember correctly, but I don't think he actually made top 2. But I'm pretty sure he was there. Okay, so
Wait.
Ramblin' and who?
Sully's not on this list, right?
Sully is on this list.
Oh, he's Ramblin' and Sully.
Ramblin'
beast.
Sully?
Yeah,
Spethom,
he's
what do you
so
think?
good.
I'm gonna go with Rambling Kevchen, but Kevchen's my boy, so I'm always gonna be rooting for him with it.
Yeah, I might be a little biased with Sully as well. So
You guys are putting your faith in the wrong person. It is Ramblin', but number 2 is
Showtime.
Showtime, baby.
I knew it.
no.
I
So
believe in
played some
Showtime.
in-houses with him yesterday, and he was doing.
Is he
doing all right.
heating up? Is
He's
he entering his God
actually-
arc?
he's actually playing like really well, and he's playing some slightly more unconventional lines too, and just playing strongest boards. I've been
There you go.
actually impressed
Alright.
with him.
I mean, he's in that same study group with Bosso and Malala and Wasian, right? So
Yep,
he has to
clear.
be pretty good, even just by accident, because he's by all these really good players all
Yep.
the time. I don't know. Crazier things have crazier things happened in TFT than Showtime.
Honestly,
making
Showtime
regionals?
over Soju with regionals.
I
that-
feel like Soju and Nubowel getting through in 6.5 was actually one of the craziest things in TFT.
That
Like,
was
the
the
two
hero
frontrunners
story.
got
Oh.
like that was like the thing that was expected to happen happening in TFT is weird. It's really weird.
As someone who was in that tournament, they were just so far above us. It was insane.
I will
Oh,
never
man.
forget though. Nubowel did hit the what's the augment called where you get two costs and he hit double Warwick.
Yes, I
It was
remember
insane.
going to his screen, looking at that, and being like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah, that was pretty wild. But you know
Player
what?
diff.
It happens. This is gonna be a fun one. I think Last Chance Qualifier is it's like a really cool tournament where like there's always actually. I'm trying to remember who the established names in the last one were. It was Appies and and Solus was like the other kind of like
Yeah,
top player.
dude,
who-
they're always so fun.
They're
always
really
so hype.
cool because it's a mix of having the front runner that you're rooting for. So it's like the entire audience tends to kind of root for just one or two people, but it also gives a
Yeah.
ton of airtime to all of these new
DQA was in
players. DQA was in last year's?
Yeah,
I don't remember
Huh.
that.
Wait,
I just looked it up. Solely Satch and Satch, Wasian, Renzer, Lucky, Appies, DQA, Basso,
Oh.
Solus, yeah, and the Wang.
oh,
Really?
I forgot about the Wang. Yeah, the Wang was there too.
Oh,
I remember that tournament that I went 8-8 to start the day on day one. I was like, oh no.
You had the most anime like run,
Yeah, it was
though, after that.
8-8, and then I got to day 2 because that first on like 1 HP, the last game versus Wang. Because I remember it was the last one versus Wang, and I missed position. And I thought I was gonna lose, and I didn't. I popped off, and then I said, "Man, they shouldn't let me through." And then I went like 8th day 2.
Spethom is getting blurrier and
Yes,
blurrier
Spethom is just blurring
as time goes on. It's just getting worse. It's not going to get
It's
any
just
better.
gonna become just like a black dot as it's become 7:30.
Right.
This is how I paid out.
You know,
Your whole essence is just slowly drifting over to talk you don't know.
there's another thing I did want to mention with the Last Chance qualifier coming up, and that's that there's no B patch. And so it raises two kind of questions in my mind.
Yeah.
So one, this has to be a huge buff to Ramblin', right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Ramblin historically has always been that player that tends to ramp up as like the patch goes on.
Is this the first time 2 tournaments have been on the same patch?
I think so.
I never even thought about that. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it is.
Well, that brings
That's
me to the
crazy.
second thing I wanted to say about it, which is that the players who competed in the tournament this past weekend, which might be all of them, but the players who at least made day 4 obviously got to have an extra set of games in tournament on the patch. And I think that does give them quite a leg up on the competition.
This is gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Precedent? He's a player that I think has not had the best of sets. I don't know. I actually don't know if that's 100% true, but I don't feel like he did particularly well this set.
My only experience with P-God this set has been he like played my ghost, went 5th in a game, so he unfriended me. I don't know. I don't know if he's good this set, or I mean, I'm sure he's good this set to some degree at least. He's always he's always pretty consistent. So
I mean, I met him in Boston earlier this year, so that was fun. As for his TFT play, I mean, he's still like definitely a top player. I think. I don't know. I just feel like the meta hasn't really gone more towards what I think he's more comfortable with. So we'll see.
Yeah, makes sense. Last Chance qualifiers coming up this weekend. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Now, Spethom, I know you have to go in a couple minutes, but someone did actually want to come on and talk about some tournament format stuff. So if you want to join us for the first little bit of that call, and then you can just hop out whenever.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to bring them in. Mr. Incredible is here. Mr. Incredible, where are you calling from?
Yo, what's going on, guys? I'm calling from nice and rainy Miami. It's been so bad over here.
Ooh, very nice. All right, well, what do you want to talk about?
Okay, so I mean, I said the question was for appies, but anyone can, have their input. Basically, I remember Ramkev having this like series of twit-longers about tournament format back maybe in set 6 when I started playing, and I don't know how much it's changed since then. But obviously, Box has had this new tournament series the last couple sets, where he takes like a group of top ladder players and a group of influencers, and they play basically a tournament but on ladder, so they have a much larger sample size. So the reason that it was for appies is because he's got to play in both formats. I just wanted to know like how he felt about both experiences, because coming from Hearthstone Battlegrounds, our competitive scene is like disgustingly bad. Like it's so terrible. The format, you play 3 games and then there's a cut, and then there's another 3 games and then another cut, and only top 16 from ladder even qualifies. So it's way harder to even play in these tournaments, and then when you do, you just get cut immediately. So I just wanted to know the feeling of playing these 120 game formats versus a 6 game format.
For sure. So the Ramkev Twitlongers, the format was actually very different. It was the same format you just said, where it was 3 games cut, 3 games cut. Which was why there was a tournament where he went what? Like
oh my gosh.
There was like 1, 2 something, like 4, 4, 5.
Yeah.
And he didn't make day 2.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was horrible. He basically we said it was like I'm pretty sure he had the best average placement in the entire tournament and didn't make it out of day 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that I think like the current tournament format actually like in tournament feels pretty good. Obviously, like I think the more games the better for me to a degree. So for the box thing, right? It was you kind of just play as many games as you can, which I think I dislike like the idea of playing as many games as you can thing. And like if it was almost like a I don't know if you follow Pokemon at all, Mr. Incredible, but there's a international challenge that you can play on like online that every now and then, where you can play like a max of like it's like 16 games. It's maybe not 16. It's like you only play so many games a day, and then like you get ranking for how many games you played and etc. So I feel like if it was kind of like a box format, but you can only play like 10 games a day or something, maybe it felt really good. But it got very degenerate in that like I feel like I was just waking up, playing 16 hours of TFT, going to bed, then doing it all over again.
Yeah.
Where like obviously then the tournament format like is like the Giant Slayer one is very much like you sit down for a weekend, you play 6 games a day, you're done, which is nice, but also like bigger sample size is obviously better.
Right.
Spethom, you didn't play in the box boot camp challenge, correct?
Did not.
Did you watch it?
I watched it a bit. It was very entertaining to watch as a viewer, but I do agree with what Appy says, where I think if they put like a maximum amount of games on it, like that you could play, but the problem is you can't really just be like telling TFT players, especially when they're grinding for everything else, hey, you can only play 10 games. I think that would be good, but because you don't want it to become what he's saying, a degenerate, just who can play the most and climb the most in such a short amount of time kind of thing.
Yeah, we talked about this relatively in depth in the last episode, but one thing just to echo what Spethom is saying is that even if this wasn't, the premier format for tournaments that we would want to follow, watching early ladder has never been so fun to do or to watch. It was so entertaining to watch all the top players grinding incredibly hard to try and win subs. And we even talked about this on the last one where like the prizing is meaningful on multiple levels, where like getting 25 or 50 subs for like a smaller streamer is huge. Having like a reason to bring 25 extra viewers in every single day, fantastic. It's a really, really cool addition to the TFT scene. And I really, really hope that that BoxBox continues to
he's
to
the
do
goat
that.
for putting it on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Mr. Incredible, did you have any follow-up that you wanted to ask?
No, just that I'm sorry to Spethom. I almost screwed his top 32, his day 3 qualification. His last game on ladder. He got a straight third playing Gen 3 because I don't even remember what I was playing.
I remember. I wonder what you could have been playing then. Was it Lucian Reroll?
Oh yeah,
I have no idea.
Lucian.
Was it Lucian? I think it was Lucian.
It
Reroll.
was
Axiomark also.
I don't know.
No!
Something,
I'm not sure.
Something that I definitely should not have been Gen 3.
No, that was my fault anyway, because I knew that Gen 3 was not like, because I had
He's so
what's
bad.
it called? Oh, he's so bad. That's actually why fun fact, that's a little bit why I went for the ASOL 3 over the Gen 3, because in the Massive game, because you see me sell like the Gen 2 and be like, fuck, I'll just move the items over, because I'm like,
you've
just
already
not worth it.
experienced
It's no diff.
the
It's
hard
actual
break.
no diff.
It's no diff. Yeah.
I just want to point out that Spethom not only is incredibly blurry, but has slowly moved off screen entirely. Now, nothing is in focus and nothing is on screen. Hit us with the double whammy, why don't you?
Got like a Thanos.
All right, Spethom, I don't want to make you late for the other show. For anyone who's watching, just so you all know, Spethom is doing the double header. He's on Hyrule Radio right now, and then right after the show, he's going on Don't Talk If You Don't Know to do a recap episode with them. So hopefully he will fix his camera before
Again, this
happened
every time, like after every 2 games, I would look at my stream during tournament, and I'm just like, it's back to being blurry. Oh well, there's not, I can't worry about that anymore. I just need to get a new camera. Maybe that's all I'll use the other half of the earnings for.
There you go. There it is. Very nice.
It has been an absolute pleasure, Spethom.
Seriously,
Agreed.
thank you
Thank you,
so
guys.
much for coming on. We really appreciate it. And obviously, congratulations again.
Thank
but I
you.
just realized, Mr. Incredible, we didn't send you off. So before we
Yeah,
send them off,
I didn't want to
Nothing worse than
interrupt.
Spethom.
no, you are now the third person on the show.
If you want to send me off, Mr. Incredible, I'm down.
Oh, I don't know how to send you off better than Gangly did. So
All right,
yeah,
well,
just congrats.
Oh wait, I'm back.
Oh, yeah. How
Just in
convenient.
time, just in
As soon
time.
as he
Perfect.
hops podcast onto someone else's show, he magically appears back
I
in
literally
focus.
did nothing. I just leaned back and then back forward.
All right, well, Mr. Incredible, before we send you off, is there anything you want to shout out?
No, I mean, I like to hang out in the smaller streamers chats as much as I can. I don't catch Spethom too often, but obviously Deepe has been grinding his streaming lately, so it's been cool to watch. And then also I basically hard committed to watching Renzer's tournament run this past weekend, and he had some really cool games. So shout out to him too.
Yes, the game that he pivoted into Infinity, or that he played Infiniteam 7, I was in his lobby. It was one of the most impressive like lines I've seen in a tournament.
He
It was-
plays
Yeah,
so well in
thanks
Infinity.
for taking the call, and yeah, congrats again.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for the call. We'll see you next time. All right. Now we can do an official little sign off for Spethom. But Spethom, first, congratulations on winning the Mecha Cup. Really cool to not only see some such innovative play, but also to see someone who's willing to stand on such an awesome platform and use that moment of fame to shine a light on parts of life that don't always get as much attention as they need. So, we appreciate you not only using your platform, but also being willing to donate some of your winnings to mental health charities. And I think it's a really, really awesome way to use the platform that you're building up here. So congratulations on that. And obviously, thank you for joining us on the show. Appies and I are going to stick around for a little bit longer, but Spethom, thanks for sticking around for a bit. Is there anything you want to shout out before you go?
I guess I'll shout out my own stream because I was horribly inconsistent with streaming for the last little while, but I figure, hey, why not ride the momentum of the tournament win? So I'll try and stream a bit more consistently now. But yeah,
Let's go.
Twitch.tv/Spethom. Woo!
All right. Appies, did you have any last words? Sorry, I didn't even open it up to you. Do you want to say anything?
No,
to Spethom before
everything
we
you
send him
said,
off?
it's awesome that someone who plays TFT the way you do, like who just treats life the way you. It's just, I'm glad you won. I'm very glad you won.
Thank you.
And,
Really appreciate it, man.
All right, Spethom, we'll send you off. Good luck on your next podcast. We'll catch you later.
Thank you. Bye, guys. Hope you have a
All
good
right.
rest of your podcast.
Thank you.
And
You
then
know,
there
the
were
magic
two.
of television. It's just the two of us. Seamless transition.
Dude, Spethom's awesome.
Yeah, what a beast. I didn't know anything about him, actually. This is literally
No,
the first time I really
Me either.
watched him or interacted with him or
He's like the nicest guy.
yeah. I'm all for it. That's the cool thing of when you're talking about TFT being so competitive now is that we're constantly being introduced to these brand new people in the scene because it's not just the same run of the mill, top 10 that are just winning everything or showing up in the
Yep.
finals of everything. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, agreed. It's just talking to new people, It is.
I know it makes me really wish that one day we actually do get to have some sort of giant LAN in this game.
Yeah, no, seriously.
And that
Hopefully,
LAN is TC4.
international or flying people out
That's right.
from Japan.
I will say, and this is no actual spoilers because nothing is locked in, but I will say that a goal of mine for a future TC event is actually to partner with grassroots organizations to host cash cups or qualifiers. This is an idea that Jack actually gave me when we were at TC3. And have these qualifiers that actually lead into an all expenses paid trip to the next TC event. It's something we talked
That's
a
sick.
little bit about after TC2, and then we just couldn't really pick up steam. And no spoilers. I'm definitely not leaking anything because nothing's actually happened. But
Yeah,
I
you
will
just
say,
leaked.
nope,
That's
not
okay.
leaking anything. I will say though that having those kinds of conversations is a priority of mine, and I would not be shocked if that happened within the next handful of TC events. So
So we have more we have TC5 confirmed, basically.
oh shoot, yeah, it is a leak. Maybe you're right.
No, I agree. That'd be super awesome. Actually, I used to enter the grassroots stuff, the Aegis events. I used to enter them all the time, and I haven't in a while. I'm gonna get back on that. I think it's something that people will need to do more in general. I used to grind. They're good stream content too for any streamers out there. Playing in a grassroots tournament is great content. So definitely give it a go. Give it a go and support Aegis and
Dude, can I just say, because I know we've kind of run out of our official topics, and I know we're probably just going to be shooting the breeze for the next 20 minutes or so, but it felt really cool to see you bounce back after the last couple tournaments.
Oh,
where
thank you.
you obviously didn't have the set 7 that you were expecting, and then set 8 for a variety of reasons that kind of felt outside your control in, different capacities. Like
this was a weird set. Yeah, I feel like I couldn't get my feet down. Also, thank you for all the support this weekend. I guess people on stream might know because I was commenting about it, but Gavin kept sending me pictures of his videos of his son cheering me on over the course of the event. It was his son's adorable.
Maybe I'll play the video in the YouTube version of this, but I asked my son, I took a video and I was like, who do you want to win the tournament? And he goes, Chonk. And I said, who should win after that? And he goes, the way he says solely is it's like solely. It's like he's saying solely with a mouthful of marbles. Yeah, I had this other thought. So I don't even know how this is going to translate onto the podcast, but so for anyone who's listening to this podcast, I am Italian American and I live in the part of New Jersey where they say we say certain words certain ways, and I'm always at this crossroads of retaining my cultural heritage and having to say words in public that I know I'm going to be judged for. So for instance, I don't even want to say actually Appy's knows, but we say certain words a little wonky. And it's
every
the whole
time I go to advise you about it, I'm like, it's not going to be funny this time. And then it's still funny.
You know what it is? Have you ever seen The Office? And Michael says of the gabagool. And the waiter's what? He's like, the gabagool. Well, no, that's actually what we say. We actually call it gabagool. So that's a fun little.
No, but yeah, seriously, thank you for all the support. I appreciate it. And I feel like I definitely felt the love this weekend. I'm very happy that it went so well because I agree. It was a weird set 8. Like set 7, obviously, I did not. Set 7 and a lot of set 8 too was just not clicking with me in terms of enjoying the game. And then what's funny is I went to a concert a couple weeks ago. It was a Snarky Puppy concert, which is it's jazz fusion stuff, right? And that the genre music doesn't matter at all here. But I mean, maybe when they say melee is jazz, maybe that's how I want to play TFT. But it's funny and it sounds stupid, I guess, but I took it to heart how into it they were. They were very passionate about it. They were having a lot of fun, and I was like, man, they look like they're having such a good time up there. And when I go on stream, I just fucking bitch. I just complain, I moan, and I complain, and I say, man, this set sucks. And I was like, I'm gonna not do that. I'm gonna just go on stream. I'm gonna have fun, and if I low roll, whatever. If I get blonked, it's fine. And then I did that. This is the week before the first weekend, I think, of the tournament, and I just started having fun, and and TFT started clicking again for me. And then I think it showed that I had a lot of fun playing Mecha Cup. I played some lines that I really enjoyed, and I felt pretty back in form, all things considered. I feel good. I feel good going to set 9.
You're one of those players that I feel when you're feeling yourself, it kind of comes out in the stream, right? Because it's the way you want to play TFT is very intuitive, right? You're the antithesis of tactics.tools and meta TFT. Not actually, because I know you use those resources like a lot of players do, but you don't use it like a lot of players do.
Yeah, it's like a suggestion. It's maybe I could do that if I don't hit something. Yeah, I know exactly. I think I very much get into it when I'm having fun on stream. You can tell I'm having a lot of fun on stream. But the problem is the opposite's true, right? When I'm not enjoying myself, it is miserable.
I mean, that's something that I think is not really talked enough about is one of the natural issues with in order to succeed in TFT, you have to be visible all the time, right? Because we are a game that is made up of influencers, right? We're not, our pro players are not pro because they're placing well in tournaments. Our pro players are essentially just full-time streamers that are able to sustain themselves full-time, whatever that capacity that means, and essentially just holding on for dear life, saying I really hope this game takes off, because this is an investment of my time. But along the way, it's like you're not making crazy money from the tournaments. And if you're not having fun with the set, it's really hard to deal with like the emotional turmoil that comes with like those dark periods of streaming.
Yeah, we talked about this. I remember after TC3, like, and maybe it was before or I think it was after, but talking about how like there's no point. Like I could be doing something else, right? Anyway, I mean, most TFT players should be like that are professional could be doing something else. But I play TFT because I have fun doing it, right? It's like something I'm passionate about that I can have fun while I'm lucky enough to be able to make money at the same time. And like, there's just no reason for me to play TFT if I'm not having fun, and that's the big thing. And I am so glad I started having fun again. I am so glad. Like, shout out to Snarky Puffy, man.
I feel like every set you're finding inspiration at the end of the set. Like at the end of set 7, you read the inner game of tennis. I don't know.
It's all building up.
It really
it's this
is.
Big snowball. Because the thing is, this set, I think I was really good this set actually for the most part. I just like set the first tournament. I had like the hardest 6 games of my life. The second tournament, I was just in Japan, and this sounds like copium, I'm sure. Second tournament, I was just in Japan. TC3, I was just bad, I guess. and then or TC4. Wait,
TC3 was.
Wait, was TC2 the one
in set 7?
That's okay, man. Anyways, and then like I think Mecha Cup I played really well. I think I was good at the game, but I wasn't enjoying the game for like all of set 8 because like I feel like in set 7. Sorry, I'm like yapping about myself. But the end of set 7, I feel like I really figured out the mental thing in terms of like how to stay consistent in tournament and how to like prep properly and like keep myself in it without like bragging on myself. I like stop letting it affect me so much mentally if I did poorly. Right, I like separated myself worth from it basically, for the most part, as much as one can. And then this set, I just like found the fun again that I lost going into set 7, right? Which I feel like I feel like I was like accidental Voltron Prime in set 6, and then like the end of set 6 after regionals, I like all the pieces went flying out everywhere, right? All those little ships went flying out, and I feel like I've collected them all back now. And like the fun was the head, and I got the head back. Which is, now I can shoot laser beams and fly into space and beat Godzillas.
Yeah, it's TFT is a fickle beast. It really is.
Yes, it is.
And like the mental side of the game is so potent. And Spethom talked about it earlier, like on a serious note, right? Where it's like we play a game of variance, right? And like I think it's actually just like true of gaming in general, where when you're not in the right headspace, playing TFT can lead you to like some pretty ill mental states, right? Yeah, you can spiral.
It definitely makes you spiral.
Yeah,
it definitely makes you spiral.
And so I think as a PSA to all the listeners, it really is important to take a break and to step away from the game sometimes and find a way to collect yourselves, because you know what, the game is gonna still be there when you come back. And I think we're kind of in this cycle right now of people recognizing healthy habits and unhealthy habits in their life, because I don't think that Spethom and you are unique in this scenario. I think there's a lot of people right now who are kind of taking a step back, like, and even on the macro lens, it's like we're coming out of quarantine just like not that long ago, right? Like it's what, like a year or so? Like I feel like
it's been crazy the last few years.
Right. It's like we're coming out of quarantine, like esports as a whole is kind of going through this big macro change of like people saying it's the esports winter. And I think people are kind of taking a look at themselves and saying like, hey, am I being healthy right now? And if not, what can I do to fix that? And you know what? It sucks that people are will go through dark times and spiral. But the hope is that people who are using their platform in the way that Spethom is using it to like really draw attention and to donate money and
how sick is that, by the way?
Yeah, so
how
awesome.
Fucking cool is that?
Like I hope that becomes standard. Like, you know what? And shout out to Aniko, because actually I feel like Aniko was the first person I could think of that was like really
always doing charity streams. And
he did his charity streams all the time. I imagine he's not streaming much anymore right now that he's working for Riot. I don't know
yeah.
if he is, but
Riot and Nico.
wild.
Sheesh.
You know, shout out to Nico. I do feel like he kind of spearheaded a lot of that like charity work in TFT, and if not spearheaded, then was definitely like an active member of that, and I think inspired a lot of people. So you know what? Shout out to all the good people in TFT. Honestly, we've talked a lot tonight, Appies. I don't know if you have anything else you really want to talk about, but I feel like that's kind of a pretty good note to end the show on.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
All
right. Well, a couple quick call outs before. You just agree. That's it. No, that's fine.
No,
it's not like it's a podcast where you're supposed to talk or respond.
Shout out to Nick too.
Let me do a couple quick call outs real quick. I do just want to say that if you haven't already seen, we do have some High Roll Radio merch. We showed it off in the last episode. So if you watch the YouTube video, you can see what some of that looked like. But you can check out gangly-shop.fourthwall.com or use the link that's in chat right now. I'll also have the link in the YouTube description and on the podcast. And that goes a long way in supporting the show. So definitely check that out if you're able to. And if you're interested, maybe consider buying yourself a hat or a shirt or a sweatshirt.
And you can also, if you go to the actual live stream itself while it's live and type !egg, you can also get entered into a raffle to get a chance to win an egg. So go do that. Join us live.
This is great.
They're going to get here and be so sad.
All right. I think I'm not even going to explain the egg thing anymore. At this point, if you know, you know. And don't talk if you don't know. Which actually leads me to the last thing. Look at that. Because I will say, if you want to get more, Asa in the chat right now says,
up, Asa?
I just got here, but if it's not too late, I have an important TFT question. Can I use a Logitech controller to play Slippy?
we should wait. We gotta play. We had to play some Melee too. Actually, I got totally lost in the sauce of Mecha Cup. I know. And forgot.
Wait, real quick, Asa, I have no idea what a Logitech controller is. What does that mean?
I think it's probably just like a generic, wireless controller. I imagine.
Logitech, like they don't make controllers.
I think you should be able to map anything to like to work on Slippy. So it should work.
What is
it should
controller? Wait. Okay.
Wait, what is it?
I'm so sorry, podcast listeners. This is horrible. This is horrible podcast content. But I just posted a picture.
Oh, what
controller. This is literally like baby's first controller that you get at the dollar store.
Hey, so why are you playing with that, man?
Asa is out here throwing the most cursed controller questions out I've ever seen.
We just fucking buy an N64 controller at that point. It probably works better.
You know, I gotta say, shout out to Summit for all that they did in TFT, but also for starting the Melee revolution in the TFT community. What sucks, on top of the fact that I'm assuming we'll never have a TFT Summit ever again. I hope that's not true. But the second worst thing about that is that we may never have another opportunity for all the TFT players to come together and play Melee, because that Melee that BTS versus TFT crew battle was by far the hypest Melee event I've ever competed in. It was so sick. Appy's definitely got unlucky that he had to go against Zane, who would have whooped everybody anyway, but unfortunately
I got one stock, which I was pretty proud of, actually. I got that one stock.
You did get that one stock. And if you had taken 3 more, you would have cleaned house. I know it.
No, he only had 2 stocks left. He had 2 stocks left.
Oh.
Yeah, I took one of them. I could have done it. I just sucked. I still suck, but...
Didn't Asa play in that? Asa was in that, right? Because Asa had that peach. Asa
has a nice peach.
Oof.
That sounds really weird. A nice princess peach.
My content.
I'm so sorry.
My content is taking a downward spiral in maturity of
content. Am I supposed to be not swearing, by the way? Because I can totally not swear.
No, you can swear. The thing is, like, I guess the way I kind of frame it is like the me part of my content is family friendly, but I can't control it, other people. And I know if I ever have like soju or Festivant.
Saying Ace's
That's true. I started. I can't play Appy's stream without AirPods in because I can't let Jovi hear it anymore.
Okay,
I'm
never
afraid of
swearing
what his
again.
next word's gonna be.
I'm never swearing again.
That's right.
It's
That's right.
happening. I'm changing.
Wait, what happened? Ace said he did play. He beat someone who quadruple wave shined him. Oh yeah.
Oh.
I think that
Was it the Fox player, the first one that Dan did out after.
Yeah. Because the guy beat Asa, and then he also beat Dan, right? Because Dan brought him down to 1 in stock, and then I played him, and then I
and then
beat
you
the
beat
Falco.
him in the Falco match where you popped off at the end.
I was getting messed up that entire game. Yeah. We played a Falco Ditto. Me and Neeper was the guy's name. He was one of the production guys from BTS, and he was messing me up the entire time.
It was good.
And I just this is my trick though. I have a trick against Falcos. I just bad player.
Step on his foot.
I step on their foot. I'm way better at beating better players by playing bad than I am by playing like I'm trying to win. You know what I mean? Like you drag them down. Yeah,
you brought them down to your level.
Down. Exactly.
Yep.
And once they're on my turf,
that was sick. That was so sick.
I've never popped off as hard as I popped off when I beat that Falco. That was
pop off.
Sickest moment of my Melee career by far.
Zane, Chad, and I have been cooking in Pokemon the last couple of days.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, Chad? Oh, Chad Smells.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew Zane liked Pokemon. I didn't know he was like super into it. Is he like competitive in it as well?
Yeah. I mean, I think he's making we're making a Azumarill team because he likes Azumarill. But I think he's like good friends with Wolf, like Wolf Glick. So I think he's just. I mean, I'm sure I don't know if he got into Pokemon beforehand, but at least very least got into Pokemon like kind of seriously just by like trickle down effect.
You know, and this obviously we're so far from TFT, and I'll wrap this all up in a minute. But I actually just watched Wolfie's video on where they opened a TFT gym. When they opened,
we're opening a TFT gym.
They opened a Pokemon gym in New York City.
It's so sick.
So sick, and they had like him, Cybertron, and then someone else who's really good, right? I don't know who the other person.
I forget who the other person was, but yeah, at least him and Cybertron. And
it was actually like a gym.
Yeah, I know, it was sick. Yeah, like I think Cybertron was playing Mono Ice. Like that's so cool.
So sick.
So cool.
Yeah, shout out to Beast Coast. They do some really cool stuff. They also sponsor socks, but they don't do anything cool with him yet. So
yeah,
maybe
why
one
not?
day we'll get a TFT gym. All right. Anyway, we've went off topic way too long. We should wrap up this show. So thank you to everybody for watching episode number 11 of Hyrule Radio. I know a lot of people like to or want to give takes but can't always watch live. So one thing I did want to shout out is that we do have a Hyrule Radio mailbag. If you go to anchor.fm, yeah, we do. You go to anchor.fm/Hyrule Radio, you're able to leave us a voice message. And if you do, we'll check it out throughout the week, and on the next episode, we'll play it. Now, I will say, just a quick call out, we don't know when the next episode of the podcast is yet. Probably not going to be next week. Okay, maybe it is. Probably not going to be next week. We're going to put out an announcement whenever that is. It's going to be around regionals at some point, though. So keep your eyes out for that. If you are not already, make sure you join my Discord to get all the notifications for when these podcasts are happening. The other thing I wanted to say is if you want to support the show, do not subscribe to my Twitch channel, although I did see that CLE just did that. Thank you, Jack. I appreciate that. If you want to support the show, go and subscribe to Spicy Appies because he makes no money off this show. He's just hanging out. Not that I'm making any money off the show either, but he takes the time to join me on the show every single time, and we need to show him some love because he does stream full time. He's an amazing streamer. If you don't watch him, definitely recommend you starting your morning with some Spicy Appies.
And then go sub to the Gangly TFT on YouTube. It's not Tall and Gangly anymore, right? It's just Gangly TFT on YouTube now.
Gangly TFT, correct? Yep. Yeah, so
that is some top tier. That is some top tier content, and you can figure out why. You can find out why Robin was the single best NA TFT player of all time.
Bar none. That's right.
Bar none.
How Robin songs, the low ceiling player from NA, could still somehow become the GOAT. That is a question for another episode. Oh, you know what I did want to say? I know, so many tangents, but I want to say all this stuff. I'm going to say this publicly on the podcast because I have seen so many of the Don't Talk If You Don't Know fantasy drafts, and I want to say right here that I want Spicy Appies and I to go up against Frodan and Bryce in a 2v2 fantasy
I'm so
draft.
bad. I'm so bad.
No, we'll be fine. I'm going
for $7.
I went for $7.
I didn't even get picked, so it's okay.
I'm telling you right now, you put Spicy Appies and I in the ring with Frodan and Bryce, it's gonna be easy money.
You know what? Just go. Let's do some TFT boxing on top of it.
Okay, that's right. Okay, you get to fight Frodan.
Okay, I'm down.
Ripped, I'm pretty sure.
It's okay. He's ripped, but I'm just twice as size.
You're like 7
so
foot
it's
tall.
fine.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, now I believe that's everything. So subscribe to Spicy Appies on Twitch. Subscribe to me on YouTube. Tell Don't Talk If You Don't Know, coming up right now, actually in like 3 minutes, that you want to see them go against Hyrule Radio in a 2v2 fantasy draft. That's everything for Hyrule Radio episode number 11. We'll catch you guys next time.